Okay,
Oh
one
shoot,
second.
I don't know.
I put my headphones.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna go for a walk as we talk.
Okay,
Uh,
one second. I'm just trying to get my headphones connected. I don't know why they're
no
not
worries. No worries.
connected. Oh, I okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm there.
Great, I can hear you too. Alrighty. So how's
All
your
right.
day going? How's your Saturday?
Oh, good. I'm a bit crazy because we're announcing this nationally on November 18th.
Okay.
So I'm a bit nervous. It is a big undertaking to do this at the scale that we are launching.
Mhm.
So but I mean I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so and you're talking about Cholita.
It's different than the other one, which I'm writing and directing. Actually, I'm shooting it next week on Wednesday. But mine is an 11-minute story.
Mhm.
Mine is an 11-minute story, and I have Carlos Ponce for that one. He's going to be one of the actors, and
Carlos Carlos who?
Car Carlos Ponce. He's known as one of the kings of the novelas,
Oh, okay,
and
Puerto Rican.
and you might know him as what's his name? You might know him more as a character. You saw Couples Retreat. Do you remember seeing Couples Retreat by any chance?
Yeah, I saw that. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, here
Okay,
fine.
great. Yeah, yeah, I
So,
see him.
okay, you know who he is now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great.
And yeah, so he's a senior partner, one of the senior partners in this enterprise, and he's our celebrity partner and all that good stuff. And he's a cool dude,
Mhm.
very nice guy. But
Okay.
anyway, Sylvia, so quick question. Would you mind if you went through the different notes? Because
Yeah.
I'm doing my little walk today. I haven't done exercise for the past 2 days,
Mhm.
and we really appreciate it if you can just go through the notes.
Yeah, no problem at
Do
all. I read through them all anyway. So
okay.
yeah,
Do you want to
we
start
can
in
talk
the
about it.
Do you want to start in the breakdown, or do you want to start in the Word doc? Maybe the
Um,
breakdown.
yeah, I think the breakdown will be good. In the Word doc, I read it through, and in terms of dialogue and the different grammar situations, I think within the exposition, I feel like are totally fine. Like I can make those changes. I can make the changes of the bus stop being more like loading in an SUV, and then but yeah, some of the dialogue I might want to keep or switch a little bit, just
Yeah.
based off of what I think the girls would say and in
Okay.
what cadence they would say it in.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, because I feel like age wise and
Just
gender wise, like I feel like
sure.
I would, yeah.
I think there were a couple words though that were redundant, and I don't remember
Yeah,
where, but just be careful on those. Give it a
yeah,
different.
yeah.
So, but yeah, go
Okay.
those. Some of those are just what I noted. Uh, but so go. Let's go ahead and and start with the breakdown.
Yeah, let's go with
And
the
actually,
breakdown. And you're right.
before,
I want
and again,
to avoid redundancies, and I will be using your marked up script to edit the next draft. Just so you know,
Okay, no worries.
it's helpful. It's helpful. Cool. Okay, so then
So why don't we start
the
with,
breakdown.
let me actually start with just a top line thing.
Okay.
So one of the things that I think we don't do, did you see the video, by the way, that I asked you to check out?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but I counted in each of them, they were just 5 minutes long. There were
Mhm.
5 hooks in each of
Mhm.
them in those 5 minutes. Now, obviously, those are written to be like that, right?
Yeah.
It's very kooky in that sense.
Yeah.
I think what's challenging is that, and it's funny because I wasn't more specific about that when we first talked about it, but it was because I was still feeling around like how many hooks per minute, literally almost
Yeah.
per minute, actually, these stories typically get, right?
Mhm.
And so I mentioned this because in my last call with you, I said, hey, Sylvia, let's give some more hooks than what we have right now, but let's not go all out like the ones that I sent you, like the
Mhm.
sample video that I sent you, where it's like literally one hook after another hook. I mean, a
Mhm.
zombie could have been thrown into the scene at the last minute just to throw another hook into it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's any hooks to that could be thrown in. For example, the ones that let themselves to have more hooks potentially could be the character of Jessica.
Mhm.
Um, there might be something where she herself uh, has a problem, and Yoli, it very quickly helps solve it, or something happens where that relationship, like where we feel that Jessica's missing, or when Naomi's missing something, that
Mhm.
might be where we do something with those characters to throw some hooks at them, a la what we're talking about. Now, listen, the challenge of what I'm telling you is that fundamentally, most of our story has been written leaning more towards, um, not totally, but leaning a lot more towards a traditional film, right? And I'm trying to see if there's a way that we can just add some hooks, even if they're zany,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think it's important to note the scale of the story that exists from the get-go. You know, there's several locations, there's several
Yeah,
themes and several action items that I had to incorporate in the script. And then you know, the example that you sent me are 2 to 3 characters at most in one location.
right, right,
Um, so in terms of adding hooks for other characters, we're talking about adding more plot points, which will then extend the entire script overall in page count and time needed to
to
execute it.
execute it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then everything else will suffer, to be honest.
So what I'm wondering is if there's a way, we could probably identify, I could probably identify within places where we're already shooting, okay, not
Yeah.
adding to, but for example, uh, I think of opportunities for hooks.
Okay.
If you pay attention to those, that the 2 samples that I sent you, it seems that they maximize the hooks, right, obviously in a very over the top manner, but they really maximize the hooks tremendously wherever they were at. And so I'm wondering, in our story, where could we potentially maximize a hook with Yoli that won't present a production dilemma in terms of like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think in terms of the structure that we have the script as is, there is room for you know comedy paths and a hook paths. Like for example, it could be as simple as like a reaction. It could be a, that would lead into the next. episode, quote unquote. So I think in terms of adding more hooks, that's more along the lines of like performance, editing, um, maybe a reaction shot, making sure that because when we first started to, because we're talking about the hook in every minute. So when we first started, I think the episodes I was told were going to be around 3 minutes each.
Well, let's talk about that. So, and the episodes are not necessarily 3 minutes each. We're essentially writing a whole story, but trying to have enough hooks that ideally every minute to 2 minutes, ideally in the
Yeah,
future format. Let's talk about not necessarily what we're doing with Cholita, but future format. There tends to be multiple hooks within. There'll be more hooks than we will have necessarily in this Cholita story, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
um, like there will be more along the lines of of the video that I sent you. Okay, so what I'm thinking about is, and I can identify this when I get back to my computer. I can do what I'm about to tell you. But for example, if I look at spaces that might be interesting for a hook, for a surprise that gets that gets um Cholita in a challenge that she overcomes quickly or comically or whatever. I'm thinking about moments such as when she gets back home from the fight,
Mhm.
she rescues her mom. I'm just giving you an example. She rescues her mom from an unexpected burglary, and she uses her Cholita powers. Or when she arrives in uh, LA uh, to shop or to think that she's going to be in the neighborhood or whatever, something funny happens where she thwarts. It could be where she thwarts a robbery of a Rodeo Drive store, or something where in an existing moment that she's already going somewhere or is already somewhere, something happens that is essentially providing hook material for us.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I mean,
yeah,
in terms of, I mean, it's not written in the script like this is a
no,
hook,
no,
but I feel like there are twists and turns in each scene that motivates her to move into the next, right? So when she's in the scene with her mom, the mom's like, and you have to leave right now, right? Basically, and to me, in
right,
terms of format, if it's going to live in like a 1 minute type of situation, that would be where we
right.
would cut, you know? So, and then
We,
for
we,
example, one of your ideas with her bumping into Helen, I think is great. We should definitely do that. That would be
right,
one
and
of
it could
those
be, and
like,
it could
I'm
be
gonna
that
stick to the
it could
next
be that
episode to see what
it could
happens.
be the Helen, for example, it could be the Helen initially is rude as hell. And she's like, what the
Yeah,
heck do you, what the
yeah.
hell are you doing, man? She's like a
I
stuck up
just want to
person.
emphasize, yeah, I just want to emphasize that I'm very conscious about not shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of adding more. One, because already the budget and the amount of days that I was told that we would have,
Right, right,
this is already very, very ambitious. Like right now, as it's written, it's like 5 days, So at least.
right,
So I just want to make sure if we're adding, okay, first Helen is rude, and then she wants to have that's like a whole nother like half a minute added to what we need to shoot. So I just want to be very, very conscious and let
right,
you know, like
right,
those red flags were there for me from the beginning, and I just want to make sure
right.
we're keeping it reined in.
I got you.
Um,
No, and I appreciate you um obviously respecting that tremendously. I mean, I think in
mhm.
our case with this story, this is an aberration from how we will like, for example, I'll tell you, let me tell you about the one that we're doing just as an FYI, right?
Mhm.
I told you, right? It's a dating game. I told you, right? It's a dating show.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, Uh, well, you're gonna say, Manny, I hate you, because it's technically from a technical perspective, it's super easy. It's basically a guy. He's a cholo, shows up at a dating show to recount what happened as part of his commitment for the dating show. And the production assistant, beautiful production assistant, walks up to him, says, "Don't worry about it. You'll be fine," because he's nervous. You know, he's never been on TV or anything. And they have some chemistry, but obviously, you know, that's not what he's there about, and that's not what she's there about with him. She's trying to just get him to the makeup room and get him into the show. Well, next
Mhm.
thing you know, her boss puts her in a terrible bind and says, the lady that he's supposed to be on the show with, she's not showing up. She doesn't want to come on the show, and we can't bribe her into it. So
Uh-huh.
you're going to be the lady. And
Uh-huh.
so, of course, she resists. She says that's not her job, all that stuff. But ultimately, she ends up on the show. And and then, of course, Carlos Ponce is the host of the show, by the way.
Okay.
He's an over the top character, and he's
Uh-huh.
there to hear what happened on the date. Well, this guy starts unloading the most embarrassing things a woman would ever hear, such as that she had stomach issues and that she had terrible breath, and she was pretty in the outside but stinky in the inside. I mean, terrible stuff.
Mhm.
She takes him, and but all of this is happening in this particular short film. It's all happening in the confines of a TV studio where there's really only three sets. The TV set
Right.
that we had to make up to look like a dating show. It's a couch, basically two couches with a set with a name of the show on a green screen, and a dressing room and the lobby of what could be a radio station, a TV station, you name it. So
Mhm.
all these things are super self-contained, and that's where everything happens. In your case,
Yeah.
you got,
Yeah, I
I
gotta
think
get her from Bolivia to LA to to the Cholo's house and
you
do
got,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we had to
she's got a
figure that
lot.
out, and we have to produce this with a lot of these considerations that you don't. So
Mhm.
it'll be my job to help you with and Johnny's going to help us. Don't worry about it. He is waiting for us
Yeah, yeah. No,
on the other
I'm
side.
already getting him to collect some self tapes for
Yeah.
us so that we can get casting underway. And I think he's already on top of locations. I was able to cut the fashion show, you know, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yes, that
Yeah,
helps.
so I mean, but in my head, it's like I don't think we can not have this start and end with wrestling, you know.
Right. Right.
So
So for example, I think what I'm looking, I by the way, just in terms of the hook angle, right, that we're talking
yeah,
about.
uh-huh.
And again, I know that if I had told you Hook City galore, you would have gone wild on it.
Mhm.
Uh, but I didn't. But I think that the main headline about the hooks are that the hooks are um, more hooks are necessary that are surprising. That's what I would say. It's got to be more surprising in terms of the hook than what we have right now. I think for the most part, and you and I know this because we wrote this with a lot of kindness in our heart for Cholita, right?
Mhm.
You know that we've written a very standard, fairly predictable story in terms of where she's gonna go, where she starts and where she's gonna go, right?
Mhm.
I'm challenging us, if we can, without killing
Yeah,
any budgets, to try to think of a couple of young people that are on the way, a bad guy that pops up or maybe disappears, that kind of stuff. Something that feeds the hook animal of these stories and doesn't divert you in the way like, oh my God, now I have to set up a Godzilla monster and do this. And, no, we're not looking
yeah,
for that. So
yeah.
that's just a general comment. That's not a
Yeah,
specific comment.
I can definitely go in and look at the script with that lens in mind. I'm super apprehensive to add any more characters.
So, right.
Yeah, so using the characters that we have in the situations that we have, I will definitely do a hook pass.
Okay.
I just hope because there was a lot of grounding that we did in terms of like the grandfather and like why would she say this to abuela, why is she having this conversation with mom. So like I don't want to do anything outlandish that we're gonna be like, well, that doesn't make sense, why would they do
Right.
that,
Right.
so I'm gonna look at it though in terms of like, let's see how many more hooks we can add in.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
But I think it's a
I mean,
balance.
yeah, yeah, no, I also, again, I want to weigh it out. Like I told you before, I don't want to make it so that we're feeding the hooks at a level that we did not talk about and anticipate. But I
Yeah.
do think that when the hooks are super surprising, there was this, I don't think you've seen it because I don't think I sent you the link, but there was this, I'll just give you an example of this. There was a weird, a lot of them are just weird. There was a weird story that I saw the other day, a couple of days ago, where there's a guy who's apparently having an affair with a girl, and his wife gets to the house, and she's like, I'm not gonna hide, I'm blah blah blah, and so, I'm tired of hiding, I'm not gonna hide or whatever. Anyways, so he says, okay. So when she turns around and she's not looking, he gets a coffee cup. And I know it sounds terrible. It is terrible, but I'm just giving you an example. He gets a coffee cup and he hits her on the head, breaks the coffee cup, and knocks her out. So then as his wife is getting through the door, the front door, he has one of these couches that turn into a bed. He opens it, he gets her body. It's not blood or anything like that, but he gets her body and he doesn't they don't show it to us explicitly, but they let us know that her body is basically inside the couch, right?
Mhm.
So then his wife said, "Oh, honey, what are you doing? Whatever." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm just getting set for the day, blah blah blah, whatever." She goes, "Oh, I'm selling this couch. I'm tired of having it." It's like, "No, it's a perfectly fine couch." "No, I'm tired. I have the neighbor's coming. He's gonna see the couch because I wanted to sell him the couch because let's just get rid of it. It's about time we upgrade." I know the couch is perfect. So we have a little bit of a debate. He goes, "No, no, no, it's too late. He's coming in." So the neighbor comes in. He's checking out the couch. He's like, "How much you want for it?" They're talking. Of course, the girl's body's inside of it. And the guy's like, "But I don't think you should buy it." And the neighbor says, "Looks perfectly fine." So the girl says, "Hold on, I'm going to go back. Gotta go to the bathroom. I'll come right back. You guys talk about the couch." And basically, as she steps away, he's like, "Look, man, I have things about this couch. I don't know if I could share with you." And the guy says, "Well, what's going on?" And as he goes, let me check out this couch. And he checks out the couch. He's like, "Oh, what the hell? There's a body." And right there, he gets another cup, a similar coffee cup, and he slams it in the guy's head, and he knocks him out, and he puts it in the couch as well. So now, so now the girl and the guy are in the couch. Then his wife comes back. Forgot whatever else happened, but basically, this guy, it was so over the top. And by the way, this is a very short story too, and it all happened in the freaking couch. I mean, in the living room. This whole
Yeah.
10-something minute story happened in the living room. But by the end of the movie, the girl and the guy wake up, and the wife and him and the other girl, they all conspire to knock him out and put him in the couch and throw him in the trash can in a garbage truck that comes and picks up the couch. And that was the end of the movie of this
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, those are some of the wonkier things that happen with these. We're not going to go there, but I'm just saying permission to be a little kooky on some aspect of it or another, just to like wink at the genre.
Okay. Yeah. I can take a pass at it, see what comes out.
Okay. Okay.
for sure.
So enough about that. You can continue with other stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry about it. All right, Cindy. So continue. Why don't we start with the top of the Excel spreadsheet?
Sure. So we have the man, you want him to be young and small, totally fine. That's just casting. And then it'd be great to, so Quechua you said might be difficult, but good
No, no, no. You
adjustments.
know what? I stand corrected. I, uh, I misunderstood the sentences you were getting translated to Quechua, the ones that you were
Oh,
translating.
it's just I love
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Basically,
think that'll be
we're
easy enough.
yeah, we're good. We're good. There's two instances, and I think it's fine. So skip what I
Okay.
said about Quechua. Don't doesn't matter. Doesn't relate anymore.
And then bus stop, changing to the SUV. Um, yeah, so maybe she's instead of getting a ride with the mom, she's getting a ride with a taxi, like a nice taxi, like a black one or something. But
No, you know what? Just for the sake of not introducing another character, quote unquote.
we don't have to
Let's,
introduce him. He's just gonna sit in the car.
okay, okay.
For me, it's like what needs to be there is that the mom is saying goodbye. Um,
Oh, okay, okay, okay. It could
otherwise,
even
why
be.
do we have the scene? Yeah.
It could be
Um,
anyways. It could be Johnny or whoever.
yeah, it's just someone
Regardless.
sitting there. It's
Yeah.
clear she gets in the back seat.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so that's an easy change. Basically can keep the same dialogue. We just won't have that end shot with the luggage. And then we also have her arriving, shooting in the back of a car with our actress. B-roll things of LA is doable, but definitely costs more money than what I was thinking about.
Well, I wonder, since some of it is really what she's looking at outside the window, that's
Yeah,
really B-roll that Johnny can capture with
if we
his
don't
in.
have her, then we can just capture the, but for me, if there's POV shots through the car, we should have
Yeah.
her reaction
Right, right, right.
because
Right.
then it will make for a better scene. Otherwise, we just get B-roll of the city in
Right.
general or driving movement. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's something that we can be more specific about, like Rodeo
And
Drive.
by the way, that's one of the hooks, right? That actually
Yeah,
where she
people around the
thinks,
world loves. Yeah, people around the world,
yeah,
they
she's like,
love.
oh God, this is amazing. Abuela, VIP, and the driver's like, yeah, you're not staying anywhere near this. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just
so we're
showing you.
talking about two setups then with an actress because I don't want to do like POV shots unless we have her, in my opinion, or we're just gonna get 3 B-roll, get out of there. So yeah, we
Okay,
have a setup. We set up on her face. She's like in awe. She's excited, and then she's concerned, right? And then we shoot some shots outside of the car, or through the window outside where we're driving.
okay.
Um,
By the way, did
I
you
mean,
change her from did you change her to East LA, or we're still in Boyle Heights?
to me, it doesn't matter because we're not explicitly saying like you're in Boyle Heights now. East LA, Boyle Heights, she's there. You know, it's to
Okay.
me, yeah, to me it kind of bleeds together. But yeah, for
Are they
all,
near each other? Are they right next to each other by any chance? I'm sorry to ask this stupid question.
yeah, LA, it's basically Southeast LA, or
Okay.
it's right next. It's East LA. That's what Boyle Heights is. It's just
Okay.
it's a barrio. It's a
Okay.
neighborhood. So I'm not changing anything when I say East LA. It's the same. Okay, and then um, I'm just thinking about that. I don't want to spend any of our production time on that she arrives in LA reaction shots.
Okay. Okay.
Just so you know, I don't think it moves the plot, and I think we can execute that without her and without really taking like a crew out.
We could show it like if we can show it as B-roll. We're seeing B-roll of
Yeah,
LA, and then she's next thing you know, she's getting
yeah,
off
like
in the neighborhood.
our DP can go do that by themselves. Otherwise we're looking at me, DP, the actress, Johnny, and a, maybe an AC, you know, like
Mhm.
that's already like way more work than it's worth, in my opinion. Or I can even find B-roll shots online, stock footage,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Rodeo Drive,
yeah,
Beverly Hills, you know, like I think that
yeah,
would
yeah.
just achieve what we're going. And then she arrives in the front. I think it's good, the idea of arriving at the front of the apartment rather than the first time we see her there is like outside the door. Um, just like one shot of her in front of the apartment is what you're saying, right?
Well, I'm thinking of
Because we're
um,
gonna be there later on, so we can grab that shot
but
then.
but you know what? It's also something to contrast with her expectation, where she like you know,
Yeah,
I think it is important to set a setting of it of her writing a bit
yeah,
over yoli for where she's at, and
okay,
it kind of sets the tone of some of the class stuff, separate from the culture
sure.
stuff and the language that she's gonna have to overcome in her mindset of where Abuela's
Yeah,
really from.
I think the nods to the class situation should be very subtle, but I think we can do that, and I think it can be done practically. So instead of the bus stop, for example, we're going to be in a nicer neighborhood that may or may not look like Libya. Um, and then when we
Mhm.
get to Abuela's house, there's one shot, one setup where we see her like, where am I? And then we get to her getting the door opened by Abuela. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
as long as we set the tone of that neighborhood pretty early on. So I mean, I think the first impression is the more impactful one because it does set a an understanding of where she's at when she walks into the apartment. But oh, by the way,
Yeah,
that's the other thing. In her apartment, we don't see photos of her in different ages. We don't see how she's been doting on her from a distance.
yeah, that's
I have
something that we can do with production design for sure. I have in my Pinterest board, I have an image of different photos, and
okay,
I was planning to say that to the person who's in charge of that when I get a hold of
okay,
them.
okay.
I was just thinking in terms of real estate of page count, just to make my
Hey,
anxiety.
I wanted to ask you a quick question for comparison. How
Uh-huh.
much typically, how much does a makeup artist in LA charge? Not a makeup artist, like I'm not talking about uh one that's dealing with, you know, the Barbie movie. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying just simple person to do touch up
Mhm.
makeup and a little bit of hair. How much would they
Touch up
charge per
makeup.
day? Per day,
Over here it's like 400, 500 a day.
4,500. Okay,
Yeah, unless you're getting someone with no experience, then you can maybe get away with 300 a day.
okay. So four to five
Or
hundred a day.
yeah, and then if the actress comes in makeup ready and you just have someone
Yeah,
do touch-ups, then that like you can get away with less. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they might
Okay,
not be as attentive, like looking at the monitor, looking at weird hair or like shine, you know, then that just means more
yeah,
work for the director to pay attention to those things.
yeah. No, I think I'm gonna need to have one for. I was doing it as a makeup ready thing, but because of because of the TV setting and stuff like that, I think we kind of
Yeah.
need it.
Also, those
Yeah,
things, some actors, it's really inconveniencing for them. It's just more work for them to do, you
yeah,
know, and if they're already getting paid not a lot, then, you know,
right.
it's nice to have someone there dedicated to what they look like, they feel taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
And
got
then
it. Okay,
safe for them to perform. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Um,
That's good to know.
cool. No problem at all. Awesome. So then now we're at the SUV, done. And then we were talking about down to arrival. We got that. And then Naomi's character is still two-dimensional. Don't really learn more about her except that her family life may be broken and Bertha is like her adopted grandma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell me
I
about
mean,
Naomi a little bit more. What
yeah,
do
I'll
you
tell you
think?
about Naomi. I think that Naomi is at Abuela's house because Abuela's house is like a safe haven for her. I think she can call her Abuela more than Tia, that makes more sense. Um, but I don't know how much more we can give her in terms of plot
Well,
or
I'm wondering, like,
exposition.
what is her aspiration, right? Like, what is she? Obviously, she's trying to get away from, and Abuela's been great at that. Is she somebody that, ironically, could be her, what do you call it? Her apprentice in
No.
sewing?
For me, I think Naomi is more so a lost person that she doesn't have any value at home, right? Like her parents don't give her attention. They're more involved in their own drama. And so she takes solace with Abuela. Abuela sees her, Abuela listens to her when she speaks. And so she feels seen. That's why she's like ride or die Abuela, right? And then Naomi, um, in her world, I don't think she has any kind of like aspirations in life until she has that experience at the fashion show where she is really being seen by different people and actually had fun doing that. And so it's a turning point for her as a young woman because as young women, like we don't really know what it is we want half the time. And so I think that after the fashion show, she catches this bug of like, wow, that like really inspired me to maybe want to be seen more in different ways, whether that be modeling, whether that be her own art, but her aspirations are ultimately going to be different from Yoli's and
Yeah.
separate. Yeah, unless she's modeling,
So,
you know,
so there's a hint that it might be that she's got what it
layers.
would take, right, to potentially be a model.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of these secondary characters, it's not about giving like first seasons oftentimes don't
Right,
really
right.
dig deep, but we are planting seeds. Like even with Jessica, Alicia, and Teresa, like we're planting seeds for them to like, what do they do next season?
Evolve,
Yeah,
to
and then
evolve.
that's what brings the audience back and fall in. That's what has them fall in love with all the characters over time. Because if you give everybody everything all the whole from the very get go, it's kind of like, whoa, who am I supposed to pay
So,
attention here to? Who do I
so,
care about?
so, so, you know what? I'm having an aha moment with you now, Sylvia.
Okay. Sure.
Let me tell you the aha moment that I'm having.
Okay.
So, the aha moment that I'm having is that you're writing it. And by the way, now I get some of the now I get a couple things that I wasn't fully getting as deeply as I could have. But what I'm
Sure.
getting is that you're writing it for a series, for like a series. Whereas I was
I
writing it
mean,
for a one-off story that
yeah.
could be modeled to be a film.
Well, even if it is a film, you know, and even with shorts that are supposed to be one off, like we shouldn't have all the answers to everything,
Right,
you
right.
know?
True.
Yeah. So, and I'm told there's a potential to be a feature, there's a potential for it to like
Right,
be a continuous thing. So in my head, I'm planting seeds with the secondary characters that we don't necessarily need to know everything about right now. Like
right,
for
right,
us, it's about Yoli, her fish out of water experience, her relationship with her grandma, and her relationship with herself in this new place. Like to me, that's what
right.
what the script is about right now.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
cool. Yeah, and I like Naomi. I think it's cool because even for example, when she's trying on the dress or the skirt that Yoli made, she's so uncomfortable just spinning in front of Yoli. Like she's like, how am
Right,
I doing this? Right? This makes me feel so uncomfortable. But by the end of it,
right.
she's actually walked in front of an audience and she did that. That's an accomplishment. So there is a slight arc for her and there we can see where she goes from there. Because even when she's in front of Jessica and Mondo's house, she's like, let's just keep going. Let's not talk to them. Let's not be seen. So I do think that there's a lot I can work with in terms of the actor that gets chosen to really make
Okay,
her feel grounded. Yeah.
I got you. Okay,
Cool.
I get that. So
Awesome.
the main person that we're going to give, obviously, which is always the way it should be, of course, is your protagonist, the
Yeah.
main person. But
Yeah.
do we do we want to give more uh closure to Abuela or to Mando or
To
such?
Jessica?
No,
To
well,
who?
Jessica is my concern just to like not leave her in the freaking mat,
Oliver.
right? Beat
Yeah.
up and defeated, right? I feel like
So,
there
okay.
should be something else potentially somewhere where Yoli, especially when she learns, maybe from Mando, that that's his sister, right? Why is your sister so
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know because she wants to control everything because her life is so chaotic at home. So
Right,
he's compensating in the opposite of Naomi. Like she's in charge of her group, her friend group. She wants to take control of the neighborhood and what everybody is doing. So to me, that's where her motivation to be a bit over the top. Um, but I think her experience with Yoli in the ring, like, humbles her. And so by the end of it, she's coming around to the idea of like maybe there's something I can learn from her about. And in terms of like her being Chicana and making sure we represent Chicana's like
right,
multifacetedness, Teresa, the girl who speaks a little funny, like and says things like dilly dallying and things like that. Like
right.
she's more of like a quiet nerd that is not mean at all. And so she mixes Spanish with like weird words that are like SAT
And
score words.
she's like
uh,
no sabo. She's the no sabo
she
probably
no,
of the
not
story.
exactly. Actually, I'm
No.
inspired by this TikTok of this guy. And he's like
Ah.
he's a Tejano, and what he does is it's like
Did you say
basic
Tijano or Tejano?
Tejano. He's a Tejano,
Tejano.
and so
Okay, okay.
he basically his TikToks are when like when a Mexican uses really weird words.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so
I know.
he'll mix up like slang Mexican, like slang Spanish with like really funny obscure words. And so that's my like I want her to be very quirky and very like how does she know this information about Bolivia? Like so that
Oh, yeah.
I
That's one
made
of
it.
the questions I asked. Like,
Yeah,
who is saying this about Bolivia?
yeah, it's not Jessica. That was my mistake. It's actually Teresa. So Teresa says
Okay,
this like weird important fact about Bolivia, and then they just ignore
right.
her. So she's the one who like drops these weird SAT words and like weird facts, and nobody listens to her. It's to me, it's a comedy, comedic
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
And then Alicia's like in the middle. She's like a hype man for Jessica, and then Jessica's the ringleader, and she comes off a little
Right.
bit abrasive, a little bit of a baddie type of gal, and then she ends up getting humbled, and then maybe with the audience is like, oh, she's gonna come around to being nice, you know? So I think
Okay.
there is redemption for her. And I think the dynamic makes it so it's not like they're all mean girls and they're all cholas and look at how we depict cholas. You know,
What do
it's
we do? What do we
more
say about
dynamic.
Chola? Other than the fashion, and I think, by the way, I think Yoli, I'm not Yoli. I think Jessica has a Chola bike. I forget the name of the bikes right now. But okay, other than that, what do we say about Cholas? What can we personally do about Cholas and the style or whatever?
I
That
think it's
could be, it doesn't have to be said, it could be shown, but
yeah.
it could be said and shown.
It's not what we are saying is that we're not a monolith. Like it's not this is the archetype of what a chola is. Like they're Chicanas that are all very different, have different style, and maybe group of friends. Clearly they do start to dress like one another, but I don't think that they're not your 90s cholas. They're modern day Chicanas, that have
Okay.
passed the cultural baton down to them. So there are elements like hoops, maybe not all of them are wearing hoops, but I don't like, I think it's inauthentic to have them not be like modern East LA girls because they're not like that. You
Okay.
know, like even Mondo, he has a lowrider that has hydraulics, sure, but that's pretty much it. That might indicate that he is a cholo.
I think I was wondering if one of the issues why this is just a thought of why Jessica doesn't like Cholita, I mean Yoli,
Mhm.
is because she perceives that she just might be the girl that Mango tries to stay with, right? Because and she doesn't like her, but she's not one of us, right? Or not enough one of us.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there as something.
Yeah, like they're clearly like they're similar to one another. Yoli's gonna stick out like a clear thumb. Like I think for a girl who's coming of age, who lives in a small town, has a tumultuous household, maybe deep down inside is not as confident as she really appears to be. She
Hold on a second. ¿Usted me dijo algo? Oh, está hablando. Okay. Bien, mano, bien, gracias. No, I'm sorry. This guy was talking on the
that's
phone, and I thought he was talking to me. I'm like,
oh
oh, is he talking to me?
oh my gosh.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But what I'm saying is like she comes off as hard, but deep down she's insecure. When you see like a girl like Yoli walk by who's super expressive and confident in the
Right.
way that she
Confident.
looks,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
gonna say something because there's jealousy.
Right. Right.
Not only is she not like it's a not like us mentality,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
So
think
what makes you think you're so good?
yeah, it
Right.
makes sense for me that she would be like, where's the clown convention at?
Right. Right. Right.
And then I think it's much better now that she has a friend that's like, why are you so mean? Like, we're people these days are not that mean, you know? Um,
Right.
so it rounds it off a bit.
Right.
Anyway, so we're at Naomi and we're talking about B characters and how we're just planting seeds. Um, and then the motivation for meanness, we're talking about that. So hopefully that clears up any concerns you may have.
Mhm.
Because I think Jessica's got to be a bit mean, you know, we need a antagonist, and some
And I
conflict.
noticed that you had several actresses already in mind that you I think I've worked
Yeah,
with, right?
yeah. So actually, they all auditioned for the middle. I worked with one of them on both my two shorts that you've watched,
Hmm.
the middle and the boat, and the other girls were callbacks that I auditioned. So I know that
Hmm.
they were at least good enough to get through my casting director and get to the callback stage. Um, so yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're all LA or California Chicanas.
Okay.
And they're young, so that'll bring a youthfulness to the set.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely need young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all
it
like
needs to look like
18
they're
to 20.
perfect. Yeah, it needs to look like they would be willing to do that.
Yeah, because it is like honestly getting a bunch of submissions, like 90% aren't, you don't want to really continue on. But like those girls have been through the ringer with my casting director, so I trust that they would send in a good self tape at
Uh,
least. Yeah.
so do you have a casting director in what sense?
Not for this. On my other productions, I've used a casting director to
Okay.
help me
That
help me
you that knows
organize.
your style, knows your cadence and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Got it.
Actually, she's like a San Bernardino born and bred Chicana.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had conversations before sending out things, and then what she would do is weed through all of the self tapes, send me the best of the best, and then I would give her like these are my five favorite, and then we would go into callback
Got
situation.
it.
Yeah,
Got it.
so
Got it.
I know we don't have really the resources for that on this. That's why I was like, hey, these girls are good. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And the boys too.
Absolutely.
Either I've worked with them before or they have auditioned for me. Um,
Okay.
cool. So then better.
I added a note around there. Shoot, what was it? Maybe I did it in the Word document. where, oh, one of the key things that I told you is that when you have, if you potentially keep that scene of her showing Yoli some of the moves, which is where Yoli realizes, oh, she has some skills in this wrestling thing, right? That the super souffle, whatever the hell, the one that's
Yeah,
the
yeah, her
Choli Yoli,
signature move.
that
Yeah,
becomes her, it's the Choli Yoli or whatever.
yeah.
That could
Um,
help justify, how, like from the perspective of Naomi, she's saying it like, do your signature move. From the perspective of the audience, they're like, oh yeah, Choli, yo, you know what I mean?
yeah. For me, so we can have her do the signature move on Mondo in front of the other girls. But nobody would say, she wouldn't say like, this is my signature move, Choli Yoli to them. Like, I think
No, no, no,
she would
no, no,
just
not to
do
them,
it.
to Naomi, because you have her, I
Oh,
think, showing off like the Mexican whatever, and you have like 4 or 5 uh
yeah, just three.
moves that she shows.
Yeah, that's all dependent on what we're able to do with whatever stunt person that Johnny has. So I'd have to talk to him about
Okay.
what we were able to do and what we're not. But to me, the Choli Yoli rant isn't a move; it's for her. Like, it's her stage name.
Right, right.
It's not a move name. Um, and I don't think you would. I guess you would chant like different moves, but I don't know. I do think that I did plan.
Or when she's doing those things, she can just tell her what's your, do you have like a stage name? Like, he goes, oh yeah, in
Yeah,
Bolivia they call me Choli Yoli. And that could be how
yeah.
that could be how somebody brings it to that final chant.
Do you not like that Abuela has been following her career and then like brings it up in the chanting during the
I think
wrestling
it could go
match?
out. No, I don't have an issue with that. It could be either
Oh,
way.
okay.
I
Yeah,
just think that if
I think it's
i-
sweet.
if somehow that's a name that she says to somebody, other than Abuela discovering it on social, I don't
Hmm.
know.
You
It's,
know
you
what
know
we
what?
could
It's,
do? Like,
hmm?
maybe when she's skateboarding with Naomi, one of the times she could have like a jacket that says it on the back, and so maybe Naomi starts chanting it quickly with Abuela at the end. Like maybe we hint at it to like some. Maybe it's embroidered in something she's wearing.
Okay, embroidered, and the word
Embroidered.
embroidered, embroidered
Embroidered.
implies
Oh, it
a couple
implies
$100. Yeah.
maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah, exactly. Um,
It's so funny, right?
yeah,
How we were like, yeah,
we think in
we can't kill
money,
penguin.
dollars.
Can't kill
Yeah.
the fake penguin because
I mean, it might be less than that. I think you can print on and iron on type of thing. I can talk
it's
to
up to you.
the,
Yeah.
no, I mean, the costume designer is already working, I think, on sourcing Bolivian outfits and stuff. I mean, she
Oh,
seems really
oh, is
handy.
she? Is she? Okay, so you know what?
Yeah.
Um,
She might even get to bedazzle Cholioli,
well,
which
you
is
know what?
also cheap.
I'm gonna tell um I'm gonna tell Rami to speak with you, or to at least connect with her, with your fashion designer person,
Mhm.
because we were going to make outreach to the fashion designers of Bolivia to see if they wanted to donate the pieces.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure asking them is like, the costume designer is trying to source. I'm sure she
Other
could use
customs
some
too.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Okay.
could use some help.
Okay. So
So
I'll connect Rami, or you know what? Go
it's
ahead and
Johnny's
connect
person.
Rami.
I don't
Oh,
know
it's
her
Johnny's
yet.
person. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
haven't met the
I'll
crew
tell
yet.
Rami. I'll tell Rami to connect with Johnny's person.
Cool, sounds good.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so let's continue on. So you want him to ask her name after the hydraulics?
Yeah, I was thinking that she's she's basically, when she gets into that car, she's not trying to be social with this guy, no matter how. See,
No.
her face is bent, hell bent on. She wants to kick those girls' butt. She doesn't want to get. She's
Yeah.
not chatty. She's in a bad mood,
Yeah.
and it's not a good moment for her. Like, oh, my name is whatever. Like, it's not
Okay.
like she doesn't care what the guy's name. She doesn't want to talk. In fact, it happened so rushed because she's not that far that the fact that the hydraulics goes off maybe accidentally and that she almost freaking drops everything only pisses her off more, right? She's like, whatever, freaking,
Yeah.
she's in everybody here is a freaking idiot mode when she gets off
One,
initially.
okay, so that's an easy fix. It's something I can have when she gets out of the car, be like, hey, what's your name? She turns and looks at him. She doesn't tell him the name.
Right,
And then he said, but my okay, so that scene where he puts her in the car and he asks her name and she says it, that for me is for the ladies. Just so you know, like the way I want to shoot it is we're gonna be looking up at him, he's leaning into the car, and it's gonna be our moment where we're like the audience are like, ooh, like he's hot. Choli, like Yoli could be like trying not to give him the satisfaction and being
right.
irritated about, like, we can do that in performance where she's not gushing over him, but after little instances of him being charismatic like this, it becomes harder later down the line, right, when he fixes
Right,
the
right.
language.
Yeah, he keeps hitting at her and hitting her in a way that he
Yeah,
knocks her down.
so for me, it's a nod to the genre. It's a nod to a little bit of romance and like it's for the ladies. That he like helps her into the passenger seat. He leans in and he asks the name in a very like
By the way,
present
I was
manner.
told, just as an FYI, because we need to think about this. I know, granted, we haven't had an enormous amount of time to do this, but I was trying to look for what I call the young Robert Rodriguez type dude. Actually, he was more on the 20 to 30 front, the guy that
Mm-hmm,
I'm looking for the story here in Miami.
mm-hmm, yeah,
And Donnie says, Manny, the thing is that Robert Rodriguez height actually gonna, cholos, they're they're like unicorns. They're
they
not,
are. It's really
they
hard to
are.
find cholos. Yeah, I
No, tall
know.
cholos, tall cholos.
Oh, tall ones. That too. But actors, I had a difficult time with casting for the middle, finding someone who was really authentically like rough around the edges and a little hard. Because like I feel like actors, Latino actors here in LA, like they're a bit more clean cut, you know.
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah,
The like actual people who have like a hardness about them, they kind of don't care to be actors. So
right, right.
it is like difficult. And I don't, Mondo in particular, I don't think he's all swagger and hard anyway. I think he just maybe dresses a certain way, drives a certain car, but is actually like a sweet guy. Um,
So
so
height wise,
he
Mondo
needs to
is
be a high. He needs to be tall. He needs
he
to be
needs to be tall.
attractive.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I think. He needs to be like
but he
that
doesn't have
big
to be like
brother.
a cholo type of guy.
Right, right, right. He could.
Yeah,
He's Chicano. He doesn't have to be a cholo. I agree.
yeah. So that's
Exactly.
what opened
Okay.
me up to some of the people who auditioned for the middle. I was like, oh yeah, I remember him. He was super charming, but wasn't right for like the brother or Angelo in my short, but he could be good for Mondo, you know? So
Got it. Got it.
yeah,
Okay. That's very helpful to know. I'm glad that
I
we
think
compared
he
notes.
needs to be kind of towering over Yoli a little bit, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be like when she tries to put that move, it's like a fly trying to choke a human.
Yeah,
It's like
it's like almost comical. Yeah, exactly. Uh, oh, yeah, I think that'll be fun. But yeah, so what do you think? Like, I can change it to where he doesn't help her into the car and ask her name.
yeah,
And
well,
then
I think he should try to be like he's kind of checking her out, right? But
yeah,
she's possessed with anger. She's
maybe
like
yeah,
she's possessed with anger. And then when he accidentally flips the thing, it's like adding fuel to the fire because she's already pissed. So when she walks out of there, she's practically cursing at him like freaking jerk. Like she's
I mean,
really hating
yeah,
everybody.
I can keep him leading her to the passenger seat maybe it's no words, but
Oh
the
yeah, you can sit
audience,
here. You can
yeah,
sit
maybe
here
the
and she's like, no,
audience.
I'm perfectly fine here.
No, no, I mean, what
No.
I'm saying is, I want the moment of like, we all know this guy is really hot. That's what I'm looking
Okay.
for.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we
Okay.
we
Got it.
see we see that Yoli acknowledges that he is hot. Maybe she's not in the mood for that, but we have to see that she sees that he is hot. So he can let her into the passenger seat. Maybe he doesn't ask her name right away, and then he drops her off, tries to talk to her. He turns on the switch. She thinks it's an earthquake because she's in California, and then
Right.
maybe when she walks away angrily, he asks for her name and she doesn't give it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. By the time that she gets off after that freaking hydraulic thing, she
She's
doesn't want to
over
even talk to him. She's like, she's already turned him off.
it. Okay,
By the way,
yeah,
you
so we
guys can
can.
be like that sometimes when you're mad. My wife, when she's pissed, she can just shut the whole world off. Oh, but
Yeah,
Angela, oh no, the hell with you. I'm not talking to you.
yeah.
Friggin' pissed. I am pissed.
Yeah.
She's a Tejana, man.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I've been meeting a lot lately. Okay. So we can do that. Like the touch about the mask. Okay, so the abuelo, you want to talk about abuelo and the mask and vampiro?
Well, I like the touch of the mask, that there's a
Okay.
red, you know, mask.
Yeah.
Um, I think the question is, what does what does one thing imply over the other? So if abuelo, if she tells the story as like one of those secrets that she reveals, it feels, I think, more satisfying than your late grandfather. Man, I love them. You know, it just feels
Mhm.
like he didn't even know that I would have his baby, but he was a champion. And I don't even like to talk about him because, he barely was in our life. You know, it's a pain that I carry. But I'm glad to see that in you is that fire of the wrestling, and and it becomes more of a reveal. I think from a story perspective, if there's a mystery to that abuelo, not just like here's another guy with angel wings, and this one's your abuelo in the U.S. That's what I think.
I think it ends up being a bit convoluted and unimportant to the story. Um, because it's like,
Yeah, but you always have to wonder, where did she get? Okay, so the thing is that the abuelo helps answer the question of, where did the wrestling come from? Or is it just a Cholita thing? Maybe it is, but it's cooler if it's connected to her Mexicanidad, her
mhm,
lucha libre roots. And it brings her more cultural closure to realize that that's another discovery that she makes. Not only that abuela as a seamstress, but the talent on the ring comes from this mysterious abuelo, el Diablo Rojo. You know,
well, I don't
it's
think
kind of
that, yeah, I don't think that Yoli knew her grandpa. I think that grandpa was around when the dad was a kid, because he needed time to be champion, right? To be uh, as successful as he was as a luchador. But I don't think that Yoli knew him.
no, no, no. I
I,
agree. No, no. She
yeah.
never knew him, which is what abuela peels back in these moments where she's looking and reflecting on life. They're having that moment, that bonding moment of nieta to grandma.
Mhm.
She's like, come here. And she shows her a mask, and maybe there's a photo with the mask. And that's where she peels back the story of this man who was never even in the dad's life, right? But he was a Mexican champion. Nobody in the world ever knew that he was the dad. She never got married. She just wanted to be a good mom. And later on, she wasn't able to be a grandma personally. So it kind of brings more to Yoli to realize, damn, my grandfather, he was he was a champion. Just there was a story, there's a mystery to my grandpa as well that I'm discovering here in LA. I'm discovering my talent and discovering my roots of my family, my grandmother, but I'm also discovering this wrestling thing, not just the seamstress part.
I feel like that's there, no, like she's like, you get this from him. But without so much of a backstory, right?
Up to you.
Like,
I like the mystery of like almost like I think of it as a Mr. Miyagi. I'm really into Karate Kid, so forgive me for, but
oh,
Mr.
that's okay. Are
Miyagi.
you watching Cobra
Well, I love Cobra Kai, and I'm surprised because I'll be honest with you. Understand me, Karate Kid's top three movie for me, lifetime, because it has a lot of personal. There's a lot of personal thing to it when it
Uh-huh.
came out. I was bullied,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that I relate to. But when it came out, I hated the new Karate Kid so much. The one
Mhm.
with Will Smith's son, with Jaden.
Yeah, the
I
I
hated
forget
it.
what that one's. Yeah.
Yeah, that when I heard there was now going to be a TV series, whatever,
Mhm.
Netflix, whatever. I was like, oh hell no, I'm not watching that crap. They
Mhm.
had all done the sequels pretty bad anyway. And then
Mhm.
the Jaden one was horrible. I could not stand it. So I
Yeah.
resisted watching it for 3 years.
Yeah,
Then
it's
one
going
day,
strong.
oh no, I know. I had
Yeah.
I was a
Actually,
moderator for.
did you know our DP is on Cobra
Yeah.
Kai?
I think I was. I know. I think I was a moderator for the
Mhm.
panel that we did. Well, I did the Cobra Kai panel at the Chicano Hollywood event.
Of the Elevate.
At Elevate. I was, yeah, we sponsored it. As a matter of fact, we sponsored the
Oh,
event. We were the
cool.
title sponsor, and
Mhm.
I was the one who moderated Sholo and the
Oh yeah,
mom.
sure. Mhm.
I forgot her name right now. Uh, and the DP. I think
Cool.
it's the same DP. I think it's the same DP.
Yeah, one of the Korean guys in the newest series was in one of my web series pilots that I directed.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
The Small World.
Very
Um,
nice. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I
Love it.
do think okay. So what we can do then
So I
for
like that
this
Mr.
part,
Miyagi. I was saying the Mr.
a little
Miyagi.
a little bit of like mystery, like
Yeah, I almost see
mysterious.
it like it's almost like there's a candle, it's dark, and she's like revealing something that, it's kind of painful to talk about because abuelo, nobody,
Yeah.
I mean, when you have an abuela, you got to have an abuelo. There's got to be,
Yeah.
what happened to abuelo? Why are you alone here?
So how
I know
about
about
this?
my
So
dad.
I want to keep the angel wings because it's the one piece of comedy throughout the film.
Okay.
It's the way I wanna shoot it. It's oh my god, this cheesy photo is back, and they doubled down on it, basically.
Right.
Like
But
a
this time with a wrestler, he's got a wrestling mask on.
well, I do think that yeah, maybe he has a wrestling mask. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
which is funny because like his identity, nobody would see it because nobody could photograph him.
yeah, maybe we keep his identity a mystery. Yeah, and then
Right, right.
I feel like I can add one sentence from Abuela that indicates that there is a mystery. Maybe he disappeared, or maybe he,
No, he died in
uh,
a tragic accident. He died in a tragic accident. And
yeah. So, but he is the father of the dad. You think that
yes,
he died? You don't think that he
he
raised?
died in a tragic accident on the night that I was gonna share with him. I don't know. Something that when she got pregnant, she never got to tell him that because he died tragically in an accident
So
on
he
his
never
way to a
knew about
match.
his
He
lineage,
never
is what
knew.
you're saying.
He never knew
Okay.
about the lineage.
Okay. I think I can sum that up in one sentence.
Yeah,
Which I think would be the most we would want to give to that. But I think we can have grandpa in a mask. I think that would be funny.
yeah.
And then we keep the he's dead, and then we'll go from there. Cool.
Now here's a question that could help elevate the chola, the whole thing
Mm.
for the chola in an interesting way. Is the grandma? And then I'm just asking. Don't shoot the messenger. Is the grandma herself a grandma chola? Like
Mm.
a grandma that wears her chicanidad, that sense with a cholaness, like
There's a
to
woman
she's
that
an
made
older
me think of
woman.
casting.
Huh?
That made me think of casting because there was a short that I saw that was in the fellowship with me. And she had an older auntie type lady that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of a chola. So she could be good. Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't
for
easy. Yeah, I can't easily envision an older chola because I always
Yeah,
think of
I
them so
mean,
young.
no, they're more so old.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah,
Oh, like the ones that
Like
show
Gen
up.
X and older.
Yeah, like the ones that show up at Los Lobos concerts.
Yeah. Yeah, like
By
they
the
listen to
way, by the
oldies but
way,
goodies.
by the way, Los Lobos. I don't know if you know this, but they're actively trying to make a really big documentary about their life. Uh, and there might be some sort of musical angle to something that we can insert for a moment or whatever. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I think any access to licensing any music would be awesome. Okay, I'm gonna write down this girl from this because her name is Graciela Patino. She is an older woman. We can age her up, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
We can age her up.
Maybe. Yeah,
Women that love to be aged up.
yeah, I mean, I think she'd have fun with it. Cool. And by the way, I organized the production folder a little bit. But I
Oh
think
no, please, by all
okay,
means.
everything that we do should be there so that we can refer back to it. Casting. Let me just put her. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a particular, like, to me, she's like an older, spunky lady. Not tall or big, she's short like Yoli.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I don't know. I don't like she could have like a little witchiness, like maybe she's a brujeria, or maybe
No,
she
no, no,
is
no,
a
brujería, no.
cholita.
No,
Yeah, like or
brujería.
what like or
No.
maybe she's a little chola like from back in the day, or like oldies but
Yeah.
goodies type. Or maybe she has like a lot of Chicanos really like pompadours and that rockabilly style. I'm open to that. So
It could be
um
that she does, I don't, this is just a thought. She does sewing for good, you know. She's that's like for
yeah,
her, she's tired, she lives a simple life. She likes to
yeah.
sew for people.
I think that she does it
For
for
love
people
of
with
her
for
neighbors.
love. Yeah, for with or without money, But I do
Yeah.
think that she, you know,
She's a
yeah,
woman that
it's
is admirable,
exactly.
not just because she's a good grandmother, but she's a great
She
neighbor.
just and she knows that she gets older and sick that she needs to have a hobby and yeah.
So
Okay.
I wonder if in a non-fighting way, she does a Mr. Miyagi in talking to the cholas one day about her granddaughter. I'm just throwing that out there. And
One I did have that thought too. When the girls get crazy with her behind the warehouse. So it's like, what would the grandma might say something.
right.
Uh, that's something I can
Yeah,
look
it might
at
be that the
next.
girls are surrounding her at the warehouse in a way, and Abuela's there.
Mhm.
This is déjense pendejas. What are you doing? Come on,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
what we're about? Is that what we're about?
I don't think
You
she
know?
would be quiet about it. I think she would be wise about it. Yeah.
Right,
Like
right.
like a Mr. Miyagi, like
Mr.
Hong
Miyagi,
Kong
yes.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
when the skeleton guys are surrounding Danielson, right? Obviously they beat him
mhm.
up. But
Yeah.
in this case, Abuela comes in
Miyagi comes.
as
Yeah. Well,
Miyagi style and
so
does
she's
some
not gonna
wisdom.
fight. Yeah, I don't think she
No,
would
no, no.
fight. I think
No,
she
no,
would
no, no.
say something wise, maybe unifying. Like, is that what we're about? I think that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. Is that what exactly?
Let me find where I can add
There
that
should
note.
be something that's wisdom of love and a whatever. And then one of them still wants to fight. So it's okay, well, you could fight. One of you could fight,
And
my
then,
granddaughter, but not three of you. Come on, chica.
yeah,
You know, like
or maybe Yoli's like, "Abuela, I got this," and then we have the hook into the next one.
right.
So,
And if you
okay,
lose, and she might even say, and whoever loses, she could probably set up some fun thing that sets up the positivity that Jolie will do. But obviously, the other one thinks she's gonna win, and there's something negative for Yoli if she's gonna win. I don't know. I'm just
yeah,
setting it up. There might be something. She says, okay, if
yeah.
you beat my granddaughter, blah blah blah. Yeah, something you can fiddle with that.
Okay. It's gonna be short, but I'll try to add
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're going on a long walk.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've walked 3.5 miles.
Wow, that's so good. Okay.
Yeah. Do you ever come to
What?
Miami, Sylvia?
I've never been to Miami. I've never been.
Well, we might
What to
change that
Florida?
if we start collaborating a little bit more. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind taking a look and seeing what it's about. Heard many things.
I'm sure
Um,
you have.
yeah.
As as my
Um,
friend would say, as my friend Danny says, it's never as good and it's never as bad as anybody ever says.
yeah, I'm not trying to have assumptions. I like checking out new places, but okay, yeah, let's go into the next place.
Go
Our
for it.
next name. I lost my clay done. By the way, there's a detailed bowler cap. Yeah, I agree. There's the straight on or the tilted. Um,
Mhm. By the way, she might even say something about that to
yeah,
because there's an opportunity to unpack a little bit about the cholas beyond the way that
yeah,
they dress this for their culture and because they're, it's their culture and whatever. But something, with always in a way that's non-preachy, where we try to show rather than tell as much as possible. But
yeah.
every little thing that we could squeeze out of something, like you did with the Quechua in 2 moments, right?
For me,
Those are
yeah, for
things that
me, it's a
show,
yeah, for me, it's one shot of her tilting the cap or whichever one means she's single. Like for her,
right,
for me, I am apprehensive to really explain a lot about Bolivia. One, because I'm not Bolivian, and two,
right.
yeah, I don't want it to be too identity focused because it already
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
like a big theme
Yeah,
in the
I
show.
got you. I got you.
Would really like to do something with her skateboard and make this a more extended visual experience. Montage. I think that would just be dependent on who we cast. But yeah, we'll need to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a stunt
And
person.
and it'll also be dependent, I think, to some degree between us on if we're able to find a sponsor partner that we're
Yeah,
trying to work very hard to
yeah.
negotiate right now. So we'll probably know in the
Okay.
next week or so if we can
I
do something
really,
more.
yeah, me and Johnny both really liked the look of that skater girl. That's Bolivian. We're hoping that she's a good actor, but we'll see. Okay. You mean at the end? Yes, I see that, but let's discuss.
By the way, that skater girl, if I'm not mistaken, she lives in Bolivia.
Yeah, but she's gonna be in DC, and there's a potential where we
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
bring her here, right? Okay.
Correct.
I feel like that would be cool if we could make that happen if she's a good actor.
Yep. Yep.
It's all dependent on that. Okay, so the wrestling, Yoli skates to her. Yeah, so for me, her getting into wrestling and like we were talking about planting seeds, getting everything we need to get said in this story, but then planting seeds for something bigger, right? In the end, Joe is like, we're definitely going to do this again. This was so hype and we're gonna make money, right? And Yoli is like, yes, find me real fighters and I'll fight them. And then she goes and recruits Jess, Alicia, and Teresa.
Or maybe, or no, or she could say, or maybe I'll just create my own group of Chola wrestlers, you know,
Yeah, but I
because
think she
Chola,
wants,
I don't know.
yeah, I think it's both. Like she's because in the same breath, she says, "Find me real fighters." Wait, hold on, and then she goes and talks to
Uh-huh.
Jess, Alicia, and Teresa. So for her, it's like having her cake and eating it too. She's gonna build something with Joe that's going to be great. Like I do think that if this does well and we want to do a second season, it would be really fun.
I
Because then
wonder
there's so many
I wonder if
things that we
Jessica,
planted.
I wonder if Jessica is a bit of an imposing girl. Pay attention to
Uh-huh.
this.
Okay.
I wonder if she's a bit of an imposing girl. And if you see her, you would think naturally she can kick Yoli's butt because she
Jessica?
looks big, right? But
Yeah.
somehow she realizes that it's not about how big you are, it's about how good you are. And somehow that might be something that's conveyed in the fight. Like you can have all the muscles you want, but
Yeah.
you got to know what you're doing in the ring.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely an option with
Consideration.
casting. Yeah, with casting, like that just needs to be someone maybe that anybody would be scared of to get in a fight with.
Right. So
But
we have to,
Yoli's
I
not.
think we have to cast Yoli first for sure.
Yeah,
Everything kind of
yeah.
comes from,
And
cascades
those,
from her.
yeah, and those girls I sent in the casting list, they're small, so they could
Good,
be
good.
Alicia and Teresa, um, you know, but maybe someone for Jessica we can
How
have a
tall,
little
by
bit
the way,
more
how tall are
intimidating.
you? How tall are you,
Uh,
Sylvia?
I'm 5'9".
Oh, you're tall.
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
tall
pretty
girl.
tall. Um, yeah, so I'm hoping Yoli is at my like shoulders. Uh,
Okay.
and then
Okay,
anywho,
cool.
so we go to not clear about your note, Yoli fixing the machine. Oh, Mondo working to earn her respect. For me, that's like him helping her with the machine, him helping her fix it like a second time for Abuela, like, and then her hearing about how he is a Renaissance man and more of an artist and a fixer than any kind of bad boy. Like to me, I feel
Right.
like it's working that he is working for like she has a difference of heart with him over time. I think it's
Okay.
there. Oh, and by the way, like Crooked Carlos is a it's just an alliteration.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, I got it. I got it.
it's
But you
just
said
another
crooked
joke.
again. But you said
Oh
it
yeah,
again, crooked.
he's a scumbag, or I could see something different there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. You want to discuss Yoli comes from a wealthy background. So with
Yeah,
that,
this is,
like,
I think we need to make sure that she does know and she remembers. And it's not like economic challenges are not core to the story per se, except
yeah,
like, for example, when the sewing machine breaks, even though Mando's not aware of her wealth or whatever, he fixes it as a different type of courtesy,
form
right?
of, yeah,
Right. But it's not because, oh man, we can never get another sewing machine. No, it's not that. It's not because of, and it's not because grandma's social security is going to be killed by it. It's just,
yeah,
it's because of what that sewing machine represents. But never
yeah,
abuela is suffering the economics because, in fact, we realize that she's the different. She's opposite. She's a giver. She's like a woman of wisdom in that community.
yeah.
Flies the love.
She lives off of only what she needs and gives everything else. Um,
Right.
yeah, we all definitely know someone like her.
Of
I
course.
don't, yeah, so I don't think there's really anything that we need to change in terms of Yoli's wealth. To me, it's
Yeah.
clear like her home and her mom gave her a very comfortable life, and then she came here to East LA and is different. Um, like I don't think she's the type that would be like, ew, you're poor, like I'm gonna buy Abuela a better house, like so for me it's subtle, it's nuanced, it's not the main theme of this story. Um, classism, but it's
Yeah.
like there's somewhat in its nuance, and it could be really coming down to the locations. So that'll be up to Johnny.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
because
Mark.
like we will see outside of Yoli's house in Bolivia, and then we will see outside of Abuela's apartment.
Yeah, which could be right there in the hills of
Yeah,
LA, right? That's very Bolivia-ish. Yeah,
yeah,
many
or like
parts
a
are
yeah. So to me, it'll be shown, not really said. And then
right.
Yoli is not one to flaunt. It's her family's money, anyways. I don't think she's out
Yeah,
there with credit cards. So
right,
it's not
right.
like clueless type of style. Um,
Yeah.
cool. So we're discussing that, and then I
By the
think
way,
most of the
one minor consideration, um, because typically it's something that somebody her age would totally be doing. But do we want to
Mhm.
consider anything social media? Like she's got an account. Does she post
Yeah,
anything?
that's a big, I will say that's a
Uh,
big pain in the ass, when it
I know.
comes well, we would have to visual, because I did write in like, look, and, I follow your account on TikTok or whatever. One, I don't know if we could say TikTok. Two, we have to do a screen replacement with Abuela's phone.
Are you on
Three,
social? She could say, I'm not a social. I've had to get out of that for a while right now. I just need to, I'm here for a different,
no,
whatever.
I think we avoid it like the plague. And then that,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
because Abuela, yeah, Abuela says, like, I'm following you, like, I watch your things. Of course, she's gonna have social media. Like, I think she would be recording her fights and her moves and her progress as a fighter and her fashion. I think it is a part of her life, but not when she's there, um, living this new life as a fish out of water. But Abuela does say in the script, like, um, I follow you. That's how I know you're a wrestler, and that you get that from your grandpa. Um, and then
Hmm.
that's why Abuela starts chanting Choli Yoli at the final match,
Right. Right.
because of course she's there watching all the videos. But yeah, I don't want to do any screen replacements or anything like that with showing texting.
Okay.
I think that we can think of creative ideas to avoid that. And then
Okay.
you have, I think most of the fights should show Jessica literally exhausting herself trying to hit or kick Yoli. Yes, so we can do that. I think that's totally fair. Yeah. One thing that I
I
will
would start the
say,
fight almost on a high side where Jessica surprises her, like when he said no hair, blah blah blah, whatever. And the first thing that she does is she
is pull her
pulls her
hair.
hair and throws her to the floor. But from that point
Yeah.
forward, it's all Yoli. There's no
Okay.
Jessica. She can't even touch her. She
Yeah.
hits
I
herself
think
against the
that's
thing. She
written. I think
slips.
that was, yeah. Okay. So then I'll pull back on the kicking and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
punching. Yeah.
Let's
But
not
yeah,
get into
she
problems.
definitely pulls her hair.
Absolutely. The
Um,
first, yeah, first, no hair, this, whatever. And then Yoli's
that's the
gonna be
way you
like,
do
I
it.
thought there was no hair. I thought there was no hair.
That's the
I
way
thought there
she
was no hair.
fights. You go
Exactly.
for the hair first. Um,
Exactly.
cool. Okay. So yeah, well, I think we'll meet in the middle there then. And then we'll
Okay.
get into her like wushuing her and then playing with her and being like, "Are you sure you're okay? You want to quit?"
Exactly.
I think that could be really fun. And that for me is like the money making scene. That's like the big. I think we have to have this final match. There's no going around it. So
Yeah. So,
we'll make it happen.
that final match, I think I would challenge you. Okay. So this is where I'm going to challenge you. I think I think it's already funny the fact that the guy just finished saying no hair, and then the girl
Yeah.
grabs the living daylights out of her with the hair, and
Yeah.
Yoli's like, "I thought there was no hair." And from there on, the freaking other one is like a bull missing every freaking corner. She's hitting
Yeah.
herself. It's embarrassing herself, right?
Yeah.
But then there, and I think that's funny because we could see how she's just like hopeless, despite her
Yeah.
size. It's like
She's not controlled and she can't have
she's
control.
uncontrolled. She's got no skills,
Yeah.
etc. But the challenge is what happens from there to the very end. How do we make that part oh so satisfying? Like, oh, sweet, love it. It felt so good. It feels
Yeah.
organic that even when she is embarrassed by Yoli, that she's willing to embrace her and kind of understand she was an ass or whatever.
Yeah. It's
That
for
part is
me,
the challenging one.
yeah, and I think it's a matter of like the audience seeing clearly that she's pulling the punches and that she's doing the wrestling moves as a dance, not an actual like, yeah, because like to me, that's how I imagined it always, is that she's not hurting her at all. She's just maneuvering her in ways that look scary.
Right, right.
And because that's what wrestling pretty much is. There's a safe way to do everything. So
Oh,
yeah,
by
to
the
me,
way, I think there should be. You know what? We might have. I think I just thought of something. When
hmm,
people are gonna fight, there is a brief introduction. In this corner, ba ba ba, straight out of Bolivia. from the blah,
Mhm.
Choli, Yoli, and then the other one, what's your name? And
Jessica.
then
Oh
Jessica.
yeah.
No, no, come, did you have a fight name? And then so it could be there probably needs to be something funny with that before they get into the middle and the referee tells them both the rules and stuff.
Yeah,
So
we
that
can
that might
try.
be
Yeah.
that yeah,
Let's
that
make
might
it.
be because
Yeah, it'll
they
be
wouldn't just walk in cold turkey to the ring. There
if
would be
there's
like a little bit
room.
of hype.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, it's if there's room for comedy, I'm all about adding it. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's needed. One, because it's not an actual like, it's
Major
something
fight,
that,
right.
yeah, it's something
An
that Yoli
informal fight.
pulled. Yeah, she pulled it together quickly because she knew that
Yeah, it's
guy
a
was there.
challenge. Right,
Yeah,
right. It's a
so
personal challenge fight
and there's
type
not going to
thing.
be an audience. It's literally going to be their entourage and a few boxers in that were working out.
Yeah.
Just writing wise, I didn't want
Okay.
to like limit ourselves.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Okay.
I think that yeah, we'll see if I can add something there that might be funny. And she'd be like,
Okay.
Jessica eats Liz,
Yeah.
or whatever her last name is. Cool. Okay, so I think we talked it out. We're on the same page of everything. I'll
Hmm.
do another draft. In the meantime, I think this draft is good for whoever needs to read it, and
Hmm.
actors to send self tapes.
Yeah, we
Um,
should start getting the Yoli settled
yeah,
the next
and
week.
I talked to Johnny about how I want to meet with the DP and everybody else.
Yeah,
So I'm in pre pro mode. It will take me like maybe a couple hours to rewrite on a Monday or Tuesday, and then
that's fine.
we'll have a closer to final draft uh, and go from
Okay.
there. Sound
Do
good?
me a favor, if you can, let's try to have our next draft discussion on Thursday.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it could
can.
be Wednesday. No, not Wednesday. I can't because I'm shooting that film. Let's try to do it
Yeah,
the late afternoon of Thursday.
yeah. I think that'll be good. But I will. We're getting close to shooting script, anywho, right? So we can
Okay.
get going on with working.
Okay. Okay.
And then, but yeah, definitely can have a conversation about the next draft. And then,
All right.
one thing I want to ask you first is you were talking about an announcement. Can you elaborate on that and if there's anything involving me, or what I should expect or what
Yeah.
you're
So
apprehensive about even? Because you said you were a little nervous.
no, no, no. I'm always nervous because it's a major industry announcement, and once you put something out there, you got to follow through. But no,
Mhm.
no. What we're announcing on the 18th is the launch. We're putting all of these stories under the tagline of mini velas, like
Mhm.
miniature novelas, if you will, even though
Yeah,
they're filmish.
yeah.
Um, so we're announcing that on the 18th formally, nationally, at a large scale industry event that uh, is going to include an announcement about the partnership with Carlo Ponce, Chicano Hollywood, and my company.
Mhm.
We've been debating if we reveal the first two titles of the minivelas or if we save it for the January launch of the stories themselves. So
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't figured that out yet. There's good arguments to be made for one approach versus the other. I'm leaning towards not doing it
Mhm.
on November 18th because we want to save some of the ammo for a focused announcement that would really more
Yeah.
showcase the stories, the producers, you, et cetera, et cetera. So, because you could, we could get this stuff cannibalized as part of a larger announcement rather than, more exquisitely announced, focused thing. So we're kind of debating it because there still is a lot of pros to putting it in this announcement. It's just that it wouldn't be we wouldn't have a trailer, we wouldn't have things that we'd love to feature ideally.
Right. 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 Okay.
So if
Uh-huh.
for whatever reason between now and Thursday of next week, we figure out like, you know what, we are gonna at least say the names of them or something,
Mhm.
I'll give you a heads up. But
Okay. Cool.
I don't think we're leaning 80% no.
Yeah, no, that all sounds good. I think my only concern would be to have my name involved. Now not
Yeah, yeah.
knowing what everything is gonna come out to be, it being so early. So, but yeah, I don't mind either way if the name of the title of the show is there or not.
Okay.
Okay, I was just
No, no,
curious.
we're definitely we're still marinating on it, but right now we're leaning against,
Okay,
just so that we give enough bandwidth to the things that we have to say, the vision of this platform and how we think we can make a difference. Because I really do think we're going to make a difference, by the way. I
yeah,
think it's going to make a significant difference.
well, I'm having fun writing, so that's
Well,
nice.
you're having to put up with me, which is always appreciated.
Well, I always like talking story and yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
real.
me too. Me too. I wish I can do this
Yeah.
all the time instead of all the I have to my life, Sylvia, outside of this is talking about the business, partnerships,
Hmm.
distribution. And I have my partners and I have incredible, incredible partners. And I'm like, guys, please just let me know when I can just stay focused on stories 1000%, not even
Hmm.
80%. I will be very, very happy to just focus on talking to Sylvia and stuff like that. I mean, I just in general, that's what I want to do. I don't want to go back to regular work. Too much
Yeah,
freaking work. I've done it all my
yeah,
life, building companies and stuff. But
yeah,
this what we're doing is fun.
yeah, and addicting.
Addicting and and believe it or not, I I really think that I really, really, really believe that there's an opportunity that is going to surprise people about how this is so tailor-made for us Latinos to break
Yeah.
down the freaking walls. We're gonna break it and we're gonna be guerrilla style. And some stories are gonna be like, did they really do that? And we're like, yeah, because we are having a lot of fun and we're gonna learn and we're actually gonna surprise you as more and more of these stories get done. And I see
I
it, I
think
really see it.
yeah, I think as long as people can feel the filmmakers and the actors having fun, even if it's a drama, like
Hmm.
it, that that type of fun is really infectious to an audience. And
Absolutely.
you could feel it in the way that things are made. And so that'll be my intention going to this. I'll keep at it. And I already started making shot references and lookbooks on my shot deck, and I'm getting pumped. So it's all feeling right. So that's good.
Well, again, I know that we are talking about one story and I don't want to get ahead of us, but my goal would be to hopefully work with you regularly and do a lot more of these
Thank you.
things. Probably that a lot of the other ones will be smaller and shorter, a
Mhm.
lot
We'll see.
simpler. I would say the complexity on this one is a 10 compared to, like the one that we're doing on Wednesday. I don't want to minimize that it's going to be less, but it'll probably be a 6 by comparison,
Well,
because it's a lot more contained.
well, you can pack a lot of punch in a small
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
idea.
That's it. You know what? That's what why the thing is at this age that we're living in has really stretched the boundaries of storytelling in very
Yeah.
strange ways that people are like, oh, you know what? Like, look, who would have thought? I remember my wife and I are literally the co-founders of the influencer space among American Latinos, right?
Mhm.
And I remember when I first started seeing guys on social media as influencers creating these videos where they would dress up as their grandmother, their mom, uh, primarily as grandmothers and moms, right? And by the way, some of these are hairy as hell guys or strong as
Mhm.
hell hairy guys, and they're acting like a woman. And I'm like, and people are still watching it, and they're saying, we're not even paying attention that you're a guy dressed as a woman. We're paying attention to what you're saying and what you're doing, and if it's a good story. And the fact that people have migrated to that thinking is very, very powerful. It's very liberating. And
Yeah.
so that's why I have experienced that part of that world. Um, I've been one of the ones that created the impetus for it. And I feel that I'm going to borrow from that and bring it into filmmaking. And we're going to open a lot of doors. So
Yeah,
God
let's keep
willing.
at it. Thank you. Thanks
All right,
for taking
Sylvia.
the time. Uh
Oh no, my
everything
pleasure. Thank you for taking the
everything's gonna
time.
be better for it. Thank you. All right, have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.